chance to look at Taysom Hill in the games last year because that's the only chance you really have to see him play quarterback. He's been banged up with the foot and all that stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of get an idea. The game I watched was the Philadelphia game. It's a game they lost. Matter of fact, it was Jalen Hurts' first start with the Eagles. They were 3-7-1, and the Saints were 9-2 going into that game. So Taysom Hill had to play in that game. And I thought what was pretty interesting about this game, there was a lot of times he played underneath center. I don't know how much that they really, really want to play him underneath center. I think it's going to be more in this game about trying to, if he's got a bad foot, I don't know how much they want him under there and then having to drop and do things like that. It was really, really a very heavy play action game. And, the Eagles were having trouble scoring, but what happened was Hill made a couple of mistakes. He threw a ball that hit off of Kamara's hands that was intercepted. He had another one, just a bad throw on the outside later in the game that kind of cost him as well. So I kind of feel like, though, to me, this is one of those things where, he's I don't know if he throws the ball well enough to really make you just totally say, okay, hey, he could beat us doing this. I'm scared to death of his ability to run with the football. I'm scared of his ability to play action I shouldn't say play action, to pull the read option stuff, things like that. Because if you don't play with discipline, we saw what happened last week with the Cowboys with the crash ins and stuff like that. If you don't sit where you're supposed to sit or have the gap responsibility or gap integrity or things like that that are required to play a team like this that can kind of do that to you, then you're going to give up some big plays. And so I'm just real interested to see how much Sean Payton really, really wants him to run the football. And then also, is it going to be a thing where, again, I feel like that if the Cowboys can make him have to make plays throwing the ball, I think that's their best chance for success against this guy. I really, really do. They don't have, I think they have good receivers. I don't think they have great receivers. Marquez Callaway and Traquan Smith and all that, I just don't. I mean,
you think the Cowboys could get away with playing man?
I think the Cowboys can get away with playing with some man coverage. I'll be interested to see. I heard that Brad Rogers is the official this week for the game, and then I'm trying to think of what game that Brad earlier we were talking about, that KG and I were talking about. There was a game earlier in the season that Brad Rogers had. Oh, it was the Philadelphia game where he called 13 penalties against Philadelphia and 4 against you. So early in the season you had that. So we'll see if they can get away with it, if they can get a flow in the game. But I'm kind of feeling like, though, that the Saints trying to run the ball could be your problem. Now, if you can get them out of that.
Stack it up.
Well,
stack it up,
but also, get off blocks. I don't particularly think that they're very good up front. I think they've had some problems. I mean, I was watching the Buffalo game, and Buffalo really got after their offensive tackles. They had James Hurst playing, and then Taron Armstead was playing. And I kind of felt like that they were struggling a little bit. This Calvin Throckmorton, he's not very good either.
It's a good name, though.
Yeah, but
I love when you say people aren't very good. Makes me happy about the game.
Well, I kind of feel like, though, that there's some battles you can win one-on-one, especially if you're telling me that Tank's back in the mix. We'll see what happens with Parsons rushing the passer. But if this turns into them having to throw the ball, I kind of feel like you could get after these guys. I think you could force them to make some throws, and maybe they won't be totally comfortable doing that. But you just let them run the football on you, though. I think that's
Denver game repeat.
Yeah. That's the thing that I think Teddy's better than Taysom Hill throwing the football. I do, but I just worry about them being able to get into a little bit of balance. That Trevor Siemian is bad. That's a bad player right there. If you're the Cowboys, you're not catching a break there. I mean, because if him playing, they would harass him all day. He would have problems. I just think Hill brings a different dynamic to this game when it comes to the offense as far as running the football, or his ability to pull the ball, and hopefully that his foot is not completely healthy.
Easy now.
He said he could have played last week, though.
Yeah, well, he took snaps this week, but maybe you get an aggravation or something like that. Again, I'm just as a Cowboy
wishing injury. Wow.
Well, just as an aggravate. If you're a Cowboy fan, these are things you think
We're
about.
not going to root for it, but if it happens, it's part of football.
That's part of football.
It's an existing condition he has.
Absolutely.
And if it were, I could see that.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the defensive side of things for them, I think, is pretty interesting because I think they can get after you. I think they've got several guys that can rush the passer. And I think with Jordan, Davenport, and Carl Granderson, I think they've got some guys that can kind of get after you a little bit. They've got a really good linebacker in Demario Davis. Again, last week, we remember talking about teams that had linebackers and stuff like that, But the corners will play press man. People have been going after Marshawn Lattimore in the games I watched. They were going after him a little bit. The guy that seemed like that people were kind of really, really attacking it was Bradley Roby. That Bradley Roby will back off a little bit. I mean, he'll play press, he'll bail, but he tends to give you a lot of space. And so maybe keep an eye on Bradley Roby and maybe attacking him. Malcolm Jenkins, everybody knows from the Philadelphia Eagles days, he's going to be a ball hawk in the middle of the field. He's still good. He's still good. He's going to try and knock the ball out of your hands. You got to be ready when you're a receiver running, whether that's Jarwin or not Jarwin, Schultz. Those guys that they trying to get a little bit extra yards. You get Jenkins that'll punch the ball loose. He's that type of player still. But I kind of feel like you can make some plays in the secondary if, in fact, that you can protect the front again with Jordan, Davenport, Granderson. I think those guys do present a little bit of a problems with the pass rush, especially in a noisy stadium. So Cowboys have got to find a way to take care of those guys and then try and make some plays on this secondary.